Do you want your business to be built for long-term success? Good agencies don't just dive in and start creating. They need to start with strategy, planning, and research. They need to understand your business, your goals, your market, and your audience. It also exists to keep you, the client, in check. That means choosing an agency that will flag the red flags. The same way no two businesses are ever the same, you have to also consider that not all agencies are run the same way. There are good and bad ones. So you've probably heard the saying, good, fast, cheap, pick two. If you want something good and fast, it won't be cheap. If you want something cheap and good, it won't be fast. And if you want something fast and cheap, well, don't expect it to be good. Welcome to Marketing Your Brand, the podcast for business owners who are done wasting time and money on marketing that isn't right for them. I'm Peggy Worrell, award-winning agency owner and your straight-talking guide through the joys and chaos of growing your business. In every episode, I skip the fluff and talk openly about what actually works. If you're ready to do marketing the right way for you, let's go. Welcome to another episode. So today we're going to talk about something that I think all business owners think about. There are two different types of business owners out there. Those who realize they can do everything themselves and wonder if they should still try, and those who keep asking, who do I trust with my business? How do I hire? Who do I hire? What should I spend? And both types face the same conundrum. Should they DIY, hire a freelancer, bring on an agency, or employ someone in-house? It's a very, very tricky and difficult place to be in, but it's exciting at the same time. So let's break down the 5 main ways you can get marketing help and how to choose the right one based on your current need and season of business. I'm going to break it down just quickly and then dive right into it a little bit further on. So stay tuned. The first one may or may not relate to you, but the other ones might relate to you. So tune in to what feels right for you. We're going to cover 5 main options, such as hiring an agency, an internal employee, opting for freelancers or contractors on and offshore, let's be real, or joining coaches or guided programs. And the very last one we're going to cover is the DIY hustle. We've all been there. So let's start with the no-brainer approach. If you have the budget, it will always be the best choice to hire a good agency. You obviously have to be in the right position to hire an agency, budget and financials. There's something you really need to consider. But agencies are best for businesses that want reliable execution, strategic direction, scalability, and consistent support without the risk of managing it all in-house. And choosing the right agency really is key here. The same way no two businesses are ever the same, you have to also consider that not all agencies are run the same way. Hell, they don't even have the same personalities working in their agency. So how do you know? There are good and bad ones. And no, it's not as simple as reading reviews or reviewing statistics that they throw at you. 5-star reviews usually mean one of two things. The client followed their strategy, stayed realistic with their expectations, trusted the process, so they saw great results. Are you going to do that too? Or they're in a situation that it was simple, clear, and easy to solve, so the project went off without a hitch. Naturally, those types of two situations, they're going to get great reviews. And you also want to look at bad reviews as well and take it with a bit of a grain of salt, because 1-star reviews can happen for 2 reasons as well. Either the client wasn't the right fit, maybe they wanted miracles, maybe they didn't follow advice, maybe they changed direction every 2 minutes midstream, or maybe they wanted to talk to someone 24/7 with midnight emails. That's not a strategy problem, that's a misalignment problem. Or 2, they got a bad review because the agency just had the wrong team member on the project, lacked follow-through, or didn't meet expectations. As an agency director and someone who knows many other agency owners, I can tell you this. It's not always as simple as delivering amazing outcomes for every client every time. We're in the business of people. people helping people. You have to remember that. There are many variables. So there are lots of moving parts. Consider it, things such as business complexities, budget and timelines, shifting expectations, different communication styles, and yes, even personality clashes. Someone in the agency might not get along with the client and vice versa. That's the reality of working with humans and not AI bots. As a director, I'm constantly balancing two things. Empathy for the client, where we all generally want to help them succeed. Everyone on the team wants you to succeed. You have to remember that when you're using an agency. They want to get those good results for you. And I also have to balance the responsibility to my team, making sure our people aren't overworked, unclear, or left picking up pieces due to misaligned expectations. That's why when you're finding an agency, you want to find a good agency and think about what matters most to you. So you want to find one with the experience, infrastructure, and processes that can support you, but also so that you can support them behind the scenes in them supporting you to get the results you want. Because when you find the right one, you're ready to lean into the process. Remember that. Then you will get amazing results. It'll be stress-free. Everyone will be aligned. The real benefits of hiring a full-service agency is with the right agency, you're actually paying for, and you may not realize this, you're actually not paying for actual results. What is actually getting you there with an agency is the quality assurance that everyone's doing, is the processes, is the subtasks and micro tasks that all form together to get you the results. You see, a good agency doesn't just run internal checks to keep the team accountable. It also exists to keep you, the client, in check. That means choosing an agency that will flag the red flags, challenge risky decisions, and ask the hard questions before something goes live. For example, now this is a bit of a share for you, but it paints a really good picture about what business owners also need to consider when they're choosing their team. We once had a client instruct our team to go live with branding she created herself. No strategy, no thought process, just a great idea she had, or what she so thought. But before wasting time in going live, our QA team stopped the launch, dead in its tracks. Why? Because her concept was on an unintentional trademark infringement. That's what it was relying on. If we hadn't caught it, she would have been facing a $500,000 lawsuit. Easy. And that's the power of a team that doesn't just do what they say, but thinks, protects, and advises you like a true partner. They're looking out for you. They're looking out for the instructions and strategies that they might have been told to do, but they know will not be in your best interests. So good agencies have the right systems and procedures that ensure things are done right. They spend intentional time on strategy and R&D. So time is invested upfront to get to know you and your business, your market, your competitors and goals. Strategy and messaging aren't guessed, and they never should be in business. They should be tailor-built to what you need. Good agencies offer the backup, reliability, and expertise of executive-level staff. Maybe you want to choose agencies that have over 20 years of business experience, because real business experience is priceless. You're not relying on one person. There's accountability at every level, including director oversight and senior leadership involvement where needed. You also want to think about how agencies, and good ones, hold professional indemnity insurance in case shit goes sideways. They should be championing accountability, delivery standards, project management, built-in systems, QA, collaboration, and they should be flagging things that are redundant, that you don't need. They can also offer collective expertise with access to a diverse team of networks and specialists. Just because you're joining an agency with a small team doesn't mean that they're not using or having additional support around their agency, because that's what good agencies have. They have their own support network that can help them scale up and scale down. They might use other strategists, designers or developers that are maybe working part-time, but they can bring in to help you and your project. They might even be sourcing and finding content creators for you. So think about what networks and what affiliations the agency you're choosing has. Are you aligned under one vision and direction? Are you ensuring that every asset that the agency works on gets checked, has edits and feedback rounds with testing? Because what gets launched that's not polished, that's not pieced together properly, is it going to be your fault as the client because you didn't tell them to do it? Or is it going to be the agency's fault because they didn't run the QA processes? And think of these things. Well-run agencies use documented procedures to ensure every piece of work follows the same standard, from onboarding to QA to go lives and launch. Great agencies can scale up or down based on your project's size, launch timelines, or evolving needs. You don't need to hire and train new staff. That's why you go to an agency. You're not chasing people for deadlines. The project should be managed with milestones, feedback, rounds, delivery frameworks, responsibility of the team built in. So if you're investing in an agency, you want to make sure that the results, what their processes are, and how you mesh with that agency is right for you. Now, here's for the cons, the pitfalls of hiring an agency, because naturally everything has its pros and cons. Hiring an agency naturally means, you guessed it, higher investment, but for good reasons. Yes, a full service agency will typically come at a higher cost than a freelancer, and definitely if you're DIYing, it's going to be much more expensive. But that investment isn't just about markups or overhead. It's about creating the foundation that allows us to deliver consistent, high quality work for you. What you need to think about is that higher price point behind the scenes actually goes to investing in the team, the payroll, the superannuation. So the people working on your project, the staff, feel secure, valued, and committed. Ongoing training should be happening. Are they doing team training days? Are they brushing up on their procedures? Are they using time so your team can be creative while they're working on your projects? Are they using the right software tools and subscriptions? The best platforms deliver the best results. If your agency isn't running with the big software guns, that's something to think about. And that higher price point also goes into office space and infrastructure. So your projects are handled in a professional focused environment. Think about all the system SOPs and QA checks that need to go into what you're doing with the agency. That time and that investment that your agency puts in with your price point is all time-based. So we're going to end up using that funding to catch mistakes before you ever see them. In short, you're not just paying for hours, you're paying for certainty. A reliable, supported team that isn't juggling side hustles or ghosting you mid-project. A team that's invested in your success because they're supported behind the scenes too. And remember, agencies come with longer lead times. Yes, it's a con, but you also have to think of it this way. Do you want your business to be built for long-term success? Good agencies don't just dive in and start creating. They need to start with strategy, planning, and research. They need to understand your business, your goals, your market, and your audience. Using an agency also means that they need to plan out and consider the milestones. They need to allocate resources, schedule deliverables, so everything runs smoothly for you. After all, that's why you're paying more. You don't want a messy project falling or flopping out. You want things to go the way they should go so you have less stress. And you want to make sure that when you work with an agency, you're following their feedback processes. There's nothing worse than going to the trouble of finding the right agency, paying that premium price to expect something that just falls flat. And if you're intervening and if you're interfering with stopping those QA and feedback processes, the ultimate person who will miss out is you. So the higher price point will give you the return in strategic thinking, refined processes, having your project work aligned with actual outcomes. Would you rather have it fast or have it done right? So when you're sitting there thinking about whether you want to choose to hire an agency, you want to ask yourself these questions. Do I have the need to grow at scale? Am I financially ready to partner with a team to take on my stress and help the business succeed and grow faster with purpose? If you answered yes, then you want to make sure that you're choosing the right agency for you. Now, after an agency, you might be thinking, do I need an agency? I have an employee. I can hire an employee. I can post a job ad on Seek and find the right person. So here's what you want to think about when you're looking and considering either giving this project or whatever task it is you're thinking about to your internal employee, or if you're thinking of hiring an internal marketing person. There are pros and cons to employees. Don't get me wrong, it's not all fun and games. You have to manage them, right? You have to have the right employee doing the right things. So the pros here of your own employee are they're going to be on your team. They're going to have the loyalty that you're after because they're going to be dedicated to your work alone. They're going to be able to spend the time, and you're going to be, remember, investing in them spending time, learning your brand, immersing themselves in your company. Because even employees need to do R&D research. They need to know your company inside and out before you get them to do a project or help you with your marketing. And an employee can offer you internal consistency. So once you've done that internal training with them, once they've spent the time to get to know your business, it's going to be more consistent, the type of work that they give to you long term. You have to remember though, it's an investment in your employee. You can't expect to just hire someone or pass a project onto someone and expect your internal employee to automatically know all the things they need to do for that, right? So let's look at the cons here of having an employee. As great as it is of growing a team and managing people and running KPIs and having those hard conversations when you're trying to hire or fire or deal with all that stuff, you also have the cost of onboarding them, training them, setting up the right equipment, the right software, being on top of payroll, superannuation, annual leave, dealing with their personal, let's call it personal family problems or sick days or whatever's going on with them. Because remember, this is a person you're talking to, not an AI bot or an agent. So they're real people with real feelings that you have to also consider. The employees that you hire also need to have leadership. So you might go, I want a marketing coordinator that's going to do all this all for me. But if that person isn't guided, isn't directed by you on what they need, if they don't have your leadership and your time from the director, they're going to be micromanaged. They're going to need to have you review everything. So that's also time spent for you. And you also want to consider employees, they're not really great for short term. I mean, yes, you can hire short-term contracts for 6 months at a time or 3 months at a time, but what are you investing in them only for them to leave and go somewhere else? On another note, what's a short-term contractor or an employee's mindset going to be like when you hire them? They're just going to be like, oh, I'm just here for a short project or a short period. Are you going to get everything that you need out of them? So consider whether you're using or going to be hiring an employee for a short-term project or if you have enough work to maintain them for the next year, 2 years, or 5 years. What are your goals with that employee? And ask yourself this. Do I have enough recurring work and systems in place to support that employee long term? Because we all want to come to work and feel supported with direction, with clear KPIs, and we want to know as an employee, because yes, I have been one, we want to know what the goals and objectives are for the marketing. And we want to know that the business that's hiring that employee understands where they're at and understands what their goals are for the company. Because you can't have unrealistic expectations when you hire one person to do a 10-person job. So now let's talk about the bread and butter of the marketing industry, which are freelancers and contractors. Considering hiring a freelancer or a contractor is often the first move small business owners will make, especially if they know they need help and they've realized they don't want to do it themselves. But you aren't always ready for that commitment or cost of an agency or an employee. You just want to get a job done. So you might find freelancers through LinkedIn, Fiverr, Upwork, Facebook groups, Instagram DMs, or by poaching someone you liked working with at another agency. Tread carefully there. Freelancers can be great for quick, short task-based work. But if you know exactly what you need, have the time and the headspace to manage them properly, it can be great for your business. But without a clear strategy, a strong brief, things can go sideways. So just remember that. The pros are really that they're flexible and affordable. You can't really beat that. How often do you need small tasks done quickly without big upfront investment or long-term commitment? Niche skill sets, that's what you want to look at, right? So you need someone maybe who's doing TikTok ads, or maybe you just need a freelancer for technical SEO or a motion designer to make things look more exciting. They can be easier to find when you niche down because the contractors and freelancers can easily specialize in one area. And also, contractors and freelancers offer that project-based freedom. You're not tied down. You can hire and fire as needed, when needed, and for specific outcomes. And now that you have gotten all excited about the pros, let's get a reality check on why they may not work for you. You have to remember, you're still the director. You're still the decision maker and the strategist of your business with a freelancer. They don't follow instructions. They don't build and problem solve. They use marketing strategy that you give them. If you're not 100% clear on your goals, you may waste time and money on things that look great, but not necessarily do things for your business. You, my friend, are going to end up being the project manager of your projects. So there's no team, there's no account manager, there's no senior oversight. If something's off, you're back to square one, and it's your fault. It's not theirs. You have to remember you can't place all the priority on your freelancers or contractors. It's not fair to give them certain tasks that you know you couldn't do, but you expect them to do. So what business owners often get wrong is they assume a freelancer is cheaper. Freelancers have great work, they do great things, but it's not always consistent and it's not your situation for your business. So don't expect strategic thinking from someone who's only been hired to design a graphic, manage an ad campaign, or write a caption. They will just think, this person's outsourcing, I just need to do this, I just need to get it done. And they're not going to realize that you as a business owner have to guide them and direct them and problem solve. You need to follow up. So ask yourself this, do I have time to brief, guide, and manage, review a contractor myself? Do I know exactly what I want and how to measure the success? Am I willing to take on the risk if something goes wrong? If you answer yes to those questions, go for it. A freelancer, a contractor, they could be the right fit for you and it could be great for your budget. But if you doubted those questions or you answered no, you may need more than a structured support model. You're going to need an agency, someone with accountability. Quick break. If you're loving this episode and thinking, I really need help with this, we've got you. If you're growing your business on your own and want expert guidance, check out our DIY workshops. Or if you're ready for the power of a done-for-you agency, we can help with that too. Just follow the links in the show notes to find out more. Back to the episode. Okay, so that brings us through to coaches and done-for-you programs. They're ideal for the business owner who wants to learn, wants to grow, and wants to do it the right way, but they don't want to do it alone. Remember, you're not hiring someone to do the work for you. You're investing in the framework and the guidance of a proven process that you can do yourself. Whether it's a workshop, an online course, or a business coach, it doesn't matter. It's all structured in the same way. You have the accountability. You're the sweet spot between DIY and done for you. So the pros are you can do things fast. You can skip the trial and error. You can stop the guesswork and start working on what you have been guided to what actually moves the needle. You can avoid the costly mistakes and you can learn from other people's mistakes, right? Because that's what you hired them or that's why you're taking part in the program. You're not going to waste time on half-baked solutions or distractions because guided programs and coaches know how to tell you what is right for your business and they know the programs that will guide you there. After all, you're signing up to the outcome. You just got to do the work. Coaches and programs are great for solo entrepreneurs and small teams because you don't have to hire, you can do it yourself with guidance. And it's not going to blow your budget, they're quite affordable. But the cons to actually signing up to a program or a coach is you still have to do the work. No one's coming to save you or fix you except you. You're going to have a plug and play process, but you need to carve out the time and energy to apply what you learn. And that takes brain power. And it's hard if you're a time-poor business owner who's overwhelmed. The results on programs and coaches, they're not instant. Progress still depends on you. If you ghost your own work, you won't get the results you're after. You have to show up and do the work. So those types of things are not suitable for hands-off business owners. So before you join a coach or program, ask yourself this: am I going to actually do it? Am I going to learn and apply what I'm teaching? And am I going to listen to the coach or the process and procedures that they're telling me are going to work? If you're nodding along, this is exactly why we built our MYB Build a Better Business workshop program. We created it specifically for time-poor, budget-conscious business owners who either have been burned out by outsourcing, let's face it, it's real. They don't have spare time to burn and churn and use all the time to strategize and get things and problem solved, and they don't have the time to manage freelancers and contractors. They just want to know what they need to do, how they need to do it so they can get on and do it. You'll be guided through proven frameworks. You'll walk away with strategy and the tools that you need. And realistically, you're going to be learning, and if it may not be from us, it could be from another program or coach, but you're going to be learning from the people running those programs. They're going to likely have more than 20 years experience, let's face it. They're going to be growing the business. They're going to be working towards helping you. We kind of think of this sort of coaching and program approach as a done with you model. It's professionally guided so you can focus on getting things done that you'll use in your business. But it's not about fluff or theory. You have to remember that. Stay clear of that. Fluffing about and learning about how to do it or learning how to actually do it with guidance are two different things. So you want to find the right coach or program that has the right expert eyes for what you want to achieve. And let's be honest, most small business owners start here. And it's not because you want to, but it's because you have to. There's no other option. You're bootstrapping or Googling how to build a website, watching YouTube tutorials. Heck, you could be watching this podcast on YouTube. You might be half paying attention in the middle of the night or writing your own copy with AI. Or even, God forbid, designing your new logo on Canva. Posting a social media post that you're mentally fried writing. It's scrappy, it's resourceful, and let's face it, it's a little bit exhausting. So if you're ready to roll up your sleeves, get the guidance you need, and do the work, upgrade your skills and knowledge with a program or a coach. It's the best way to get there a little bit faster, and it's the best way to give you the right business mindset to get the things done that you need. All right, so let's talk about the last option, and it's where everyone kind of starts with their business idea. It's the DIY, I'm doing it myself approach. You could be writing your own copy, designing your own logo in Canva, posting on social media when you've already mentally turned and switched off. DIY, it's scrappy, but it's resourceful. And let's face it, it's exhausting. The DIY route is usually fueled by tight budgets, time pressures, and a whole lot of grit. You're trying to grow your business with whatever tools you can get access to, and you're figuring it out as you go. Good on you. That is exciting. But while it can build resilience and teach you a whole lot of things you may or may not need to know, it can also keep you stuck in a cycle of doing everything, and you may not realize when it's time to stop. So here are the pros about doing it DIY style. You've got total control. You're in the driver's seat. Every decision is yours. It's cheap. It's low cost. You can launch something without big financial outlay. Also, it's your time, right? So you're not spending the financial money. But remember, what does your time cost you? The other thing to remember is that the DIY style approach has a learning curve. You'll understand your business inside out, but you may not know what's best for it because you can't get that outsider's perspective. You will stay connected to your audience because you're in the thick of it, you're in the throes, and you'll be writing your own content and handling your own social media quite easily if you have the time for it. But every time you figure something out, that's a win. It strengthens your problem-solving muscle and makes you more resourceful. Now, you bet as a DIYer, you're going to learn from your mistakes and you probably won't make them twice. So you'll know what to outsource later. And these are all great things, but here are the biggest downfalls. I'm sure it's nothing new for you to know. It's time consuming. It's overwhelming, especially when you're wearing all the hats. No one can check your blind spots. So if you make mistakes, that's on you and you'll probably pick it up a little bit too late. You won't have that mindset for strategic direction. The strategy, the structure, are you really going to plan it out and think about it the way it should be done? Because let's face it, you're busy. It's emotionally draining. It's decision fatigue and frustration. So before you say to yourself, nope, I can do it. I'm just going to take the DIY road. I'll just do it myself. I may as well do it. At least I know it will get done, or it might get done better than hiring a contractor or spending money on an agency. If you're making the decision to keep DIYing or take the DIY approach, ask yourself this question. Do I have more time than money right now? Do I enjoy learning and figuring things out, or am I just doing this out of necessity? Is my DIY work getting me closer to the results I need, or am I just doing it to keep busy? What would it be worth to get expert support or another set of eyes? And do you need to stay in control of it? Is it something that relies on you to do it yourself? So if you're sick of spinning your wheels, this is where those guided programs and workshops come into play if you can afford them. It's just a little bit of an investment. And if you want that extra support, the step up is, do you want to hire a contractor or a freelancer? Or do you have the budget to be able to go from zero DIY time to getting an agency to help you, even if it's just on a retainer? There are smarter middle grounds that you can think about. There are 5 options now that I've shared with you that you can really sit there and analyze and consider. Coaches and programs are perfect for those who are ready to transition out of the lonely DIY phase. You don't want to be let down by freelancers or contractors just yet, and you're not ready for an employee or an agency. So consider using those. For the founders who are ready to stop guessing, but not quite ready to fully outsource. Agencies, on the other hand, are for founders and business owners who are ready to grow, need reliable support, and want a job that's done properly with a team that thinks, plans, and executes. So you can get out of the weeds and focus on the bigger business decisions. Freelancers are for the founder who knows exactly what they need, has a clear brief, and just wants someone to get the task done fast and affordably. So you've probably heard the saying, good, fast, cheap, pick 2. If you want something good and fast, it won't be cheap. If you want something cheap and good, it won't be fast. And if you want something fast and cheap, well, don't expect it to be good. So when figuring out who you should choose, quickly do a check on this. What's the size of your team? What skills do you already have? And what's your actual budget? Because to be honest, who you choose, aside from skill sets and outcomes, your budget's going to really be that financial guide helping you make that decision. If your marketing budget for the year is under 5K, stick to DIY, guided programs, or low-level contractors on Upwork, Fiverr, even overseas teams. If your budget is around the 10 to 20K for the year, you're in a good position to invest in a high-end coaching program, a done-with-you service, or a cheaper agency. If you've got more than $20,000 to spend per year, you're definitely ready for a professional agency that can plan, manage, and deliver the execution skill set you need done for growth. So to recap, ask yourself, are you time poor? Are you clarity poor, or are you cash poor? The biggest takeaway for you business owners when you're thinking about your marketing is don't wait until you're overwhelmed or burnt out to ask for help. Be strategic about how you get support and who from. Whether you're ready for a workshop, a freelancer, or a full service team, finding the right support for you can help you figure out the next best step. And remember, Don't just follow trends. Choose the path that's right for your business and your goals. If you got value from today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a straight talking strategy to move your business forward. If you want more support, check out the link in the show notes for our step-by-step workshops that will help you build a better business, leveraging the right marketing tactics. Or if you're ready for the power of a done-for-you solution, chat with our team and we'll see how we might be able to help you. And don't forget to follow us on socials at Marketing Your Brand. And remember, no matter where you're at in business, take the next right step for you.